Hello, my name is Anthony Vidana. I worked on the Apollo spacecraft in Downey, California, where they built the spaceship. And this video is going to show pictures of my people I worked with, my shipmates, some of the engineers, and other people. I've been sitting on all these photos for a long time, and I thought I'd try to get them out so people could see it, so we won't be forgotten. And these the craft people, the technicians and engineers, the office staff, everybody contributed to this in Downey, California. So I'm trying to show us as many that I was able to collect. It's a lot more, but I don't. This video doesn't have the room for all of it. So I thought I'd start with this simple one and see how it goes. If people watch it, well, then I'll put a lot more. But I thought it'd be nice for like genealogy that people worked in Downey on the spacecrafts. Any of the spacecrafts like Apollo 1 through Apollo 17. Doesn't show any of the astronauts. Well, it shows a few of the astronauts with some of the group photos, but it doesn't show too much of the spacecraft itself as in the background. So that was not the intent of this video. It's the intent to show the people that worked there, and which contributed a lot to this program. And the future generations, they'll be able to see who the people were involved to get the first man on the moon. So I'm really proud to have worked on the Apollo, and I'm sure everybody else that worked on it did too. It was a magical time, and it'll never happen like this again. Maybe when they go to Mars, so some other planets. So I'm going to let this video display what I've collected, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. I try to arrange these photos in some kind of a logical order, and what I did, I started with Apollo 1 and followed through with Apollo 17, and there's also a few of the crews for the Skylab. And after that, I tried to just put them in random order of photos I have. These guys worked on the birds. They do the testing on the spaceship. And the Apollo spacecraft, what it is, it consists of three parts. They call them the service module and command module. The service module was used for the rocket and fuel tanks and of different sorts, like oxygen and some other things we needed. And the command module is actually the cockpit. And these things were separated during landing. What happened, they would launch this Apollo spacecraft. It never landed on the moon. It just orbited the moon, and it had a thing called the limb on top of it. It looks kind of like a spider, and that was the lunar lander. And what happened is they launched it from the Saturn V rocket, and it was in 3 stages, and they would drop the different stages that went up through the atmosphere. And then they had some maneuvers done with the Apollo and the service module and the lunar lander. And they also jettisoned, there was an escape rocket they used. They got rid of that too. So then it went all the way, it went thousands of miles to the moon, and it orbited the moon, and they landed. The lunar lander separated from the Apollo spacecraft and landed on the moon. And that lunar lander consisted of 2 parts. They had the landing part and the part that separates, that takes off and goes back and mate with the Apollo. Kind of briefly what went on. Then the astronauts would get back on the spacecraft on the command module and travel all the way back to Earth. They would jettison the lunar lander when they got close to the Earth, and then they'd jettison the service module, which had the rockets and things. And the command module had a few little rockets on it for landing, and had parachutes and things of that nature so they could land. And it had a special heat shield on the bottom because it got so hot when it was coming re-entering. And the heat shield was a strange thing. It's kind of like it's made out of some types of resins and metals, and it worked kind of like charcoal. It would separate in layers, and then they would come down and they'd separate the service module from the command module. The command module was a lander, would actually do the landing. And as it's coming down, the heat shield would take care of the heat and separate us in little fragments as they went down. It slowed down, and then when we got to a certain altitude, the parachutes would open up, and the parachutes would help it land, give it a soft landing. And there was a carrier that was close by, and they would send a helicopter over to pick up the astronauts. There's a lot of videos of the entire mission. And again, this is not the purpose of this. This was just to show the people involved in there. The reason I'm just using this as filler so I can get through all these pictures. I don't have any copyright for any sounds or music, so I thought I'd just kind of fill it in with some narration of some sort. Anyway, this is getting to the end of the video, and hopefully this will be helpful for maybe for genealogy or future if somebody else wants to see this stuff. Again, thank you for watching this, and I thank you all. Thank you, and this is the end. Goodbye.